Hey, what's up? Today we're going to dive into the patch notes. We'll also take a look at the latest response from the community manager on the Spear. We'll also discuss a recent incident where a player was banned for unlinking their PSN account. And we'll touch on talks of a potential new biome and more. Additionally, we'll see what the developer had to say about buffs and patrol spawns. There's so much to discuss. If you find the video informative at any point, click the thumbs up button below the video. Let's begin by discussing the recent news on PSN link bans. Apparently some players have been banned for unlinking their Sony accounts from Helldivers 2. The post can be found right here, and this member states, just over a week, I've been banned from Helldivers 2 for unlinking my PSN account and the devs still have done nothing. The community manager, Twinbeard, responded with, I've seen you and this before and I'm bringing this up with someone first thing tomorrow. Don't know all the details, but to me it sounds as if you've fallen between the chairs and that no one wants to own and solve the problem. Then the next day, which would be today, he posted this right here following the conversation up with, I have now forwarded a question about this with some information to Sony. I can't guarantee that we'll get a response, but if we do, I'll write or DM you here. The situation seems absurd and should of course be resolved. I can't promise it will, but if we can help out, we will. Then a completely different member replied to Twinbeard by stating this right here. This is not the first person I've seen with this same issue. Twinbeard responded to that user by saying, no, there are more. We know, obviously we ask the questions for everyone, and if we get a response, that should go for everyone being excluded after unlinking. Honestly, when I first read this, it seemed like it could have been a troll post, but it appears to be genuine. If you have experienced a ban recently, please let me know in the comments section below. Speaking of bans, we have a conversation between the chief executive of Arrowhead and a Helldiver about mods. This player asks, I've been seeing so much of this Star Wars mod for Helldivers 2, and I'm not only a huge fan of your game, but also Star Wars. If someone used these mods to play online or with friends, would they be at risk of a ban? The CEO replied with, yes, they would be at risk of a ban if anti-cheat detects it as tampering. We have discussed this previously, but we only received a response from a developer and a community manager. However, this time, we have an official statement or a response from the CEO about modding, and at this point, I would suggest not modifying the game files in any capacity. Next, a member of the Helldivers 2 Discord asked about new biomes and whether there is any news on this. The player asked, there was a poll where we as a community replied we most want to get more biomes. Most people I've seen are asking for cityscapes. Is there any news on this? It would be incredible. The CM Twinbeard replied with, no news, new biomes, modes etc. are plausible, though we hope H22 will be around for many years. It won't be if we don't add new and varied content. Sure, it could like Counter-Strike, but odds will be better with more stuff. Right here, I would love to see more biomes, especially city landscapes, and most of all, a new mode. Perhaps I'm jumping the gun here. What do you guys think? Would you like to see a new mode already? Let me know down below in the comments. Moving on to the next post, the upcoming question pertains mech controls, or more specifically, mech keybinds. Currently, there's an issue on PC where if you try to change a specific keybind, you'll find that the keybind is actually hard-coded. The community manager has replied to this and he will inquire about the mech controls. Now, sure, that answer isn't much, but at least we know that there's going to be something here brought up in the internal discussion. Alright, with that to the side, we are going to look at the latest response on the Spear patch. There's a member here who brought up how terrible the lock-on is with the Spear. The community manager responded that it is being addressed, and here's what he has to say specifically. Twinbeard replied with, it will be less say in the near future, a fix is slated for a later patch. Then the CM continued on to reply to another member who asked this right here. Hey community manager, great patch today. I remember Spitz said a few days ago that the Spear lock-on has been fixed and is just waiting for it to go live. Any reason it's not in the patch, and will it be pushed out soon? The community manager Twinbeard responded with, hey, thanks, glad you like it. The Spear is getting mended in a patch coming soon, last I heard late springish. Not 100% sure, but fairly certain. Well, it appears that we won't be seeing the patch anytime soon this week. However, there is good news as spring is coming to an end. There is at least 2 or 3 weeks left, so we should see or expect to see at least an update sometime soon this month, either next week or the week after that. Continuing on, the community manager Twinbeard responded to a question about public test servers and whether or not the developers are planning on bringing this to us still. This member asked, sorry for the ping, but I'd like to ask if there are any plans to launch a test server for people to test out planned balances and content of any kind. The community manager replied with, yes, there are similar plans, exactly what, how, and when we don't know yet, but we're discussing it. With that information to the side, the next question can be found right here, and this member asks, hey, don't mind me asking, how are we supposed to finish the major order when at certain playtimes at least half the player base is gone? Then Twinbeard replied with, well, to put it bluntly, if we can't, it'll fail. We've said before that one of the strengths with HD2 is that we don't micromanage the Galactic War short term. The feelings this back and forth tug of war creates is what feeds immersion. It's what makes it real and mean something. If we just steamrolled everything, it wouldn't be fun. Long term, if player numbers decline, we of course have to adapt major orders, but we don't want to be in there and poke around on an individual order basis. And last but not least, we have a post by the developer confirming that patrol spawns is being looked into, and the CEO has made statements with the team about focusing on balancing and more. The developer Evil Boss responded with, our CEO also made a statement that there's going to be some major focus on balancing and making things good, so that hopefully helps some. And then another post confirmed that the developers are looking into patrol spawn issues, and he replied to another member stating, we are working on it. I think I saw some internal discussions on that subject at least. Well, at some point, we should expect to see a patch for the patrol spawn issue as well as the spear lock-on bug. So to wrap up the video, I'll briefly go over the patch notes and we'll take a look at the recent tweet from the CEO, but let's start off with the recent patch notes. Let's take a look at the top here for the crashes. What they've done here is they fixed several issues with crashing. Now, this would happen when a player would hot join. They've also fixed a rare issue that would happen when you would transition from the ship, but more so there are some other issues down here on the bottom for the miscellaneous fix. For the last one on the bottom, it says, quote, Airburst proximity explosion is now triggered only by enemies and Helldivers. Then there's also another one here for the tenderizer, and it says, the AR-61 tenderizer now has the correct color scheme. The most notable fixes here have to be with the crashing and the airburst proximity, and as well as the tenderizer as well. But with that being said, there's not much here to talk about. I just wanted to go over it briefly and kind of tell you guys what's going on. What we are going to do now is take a look at the recent CEO's tweet, or X post, I guess. Some of you don't like that word, but this is what the chief executive had to say. As announced in the Sony earnings call, we have sold over 12 million units. It's crazy to think that there are more Helldivers than there are Swedes. What a massive achievement from everyone involved in realizing Helldivers 2. A massive thank you to the community for your support, passion, and dedication in the fight for democracy. I have to say, 12 million units sold, that's an incredible amount, and also just an incredible achievement for everybody at Arrowhead. So kudos to them. What we are going to do now is talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you'd like to be featured in the next video, comment down below. The first one can be found here by this user. This user right here named Cementi says, my response is the CEO is a better CM than the CMs. The second user here is No Name. Let's all hope the CEO has a 10 in charisma when he's talking with Sony. And last but not least, we have this user named Jeffrey Williams, and he says, biggest issue with bug breaches and bot drops is that they are instant. Just give us a couple of seconds to stop them before they get called instead of like half a second. As it is now, if you aren't already shooting the call-in bot bug already when the call-in starts, the likelihood of it being stopped is basically nil. With those comments being said, if you guys would like to be featured in the next video, comment down below. Thank you guys for the support and all the comments that you guys give me on the videos. It's absolutely awesome. If you guys have not done so, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.